after streaming on the other camera, I'm like, why is this so close? Anywho, where, oh, it's on the floor. My little marquee thing is on the floor. Alright, so we're talking about VHS 94. Now, this one, I have to say, is the best one of all the VHS movies, because, mainly, spoiler alert, a good chunk of them appeared to actually be filmed on VHS, on video, to, like, be that person, because that was, like, the joke, my hair, the joke with, like, the first two, which was, like, you call it VHS, it's not on VHS, you know, it was just more of just, like, here's the name of it kind of stuff, you know, where, like, in the, so, oh, actually, let me dial it back. So, if you don't know, the VHS series is an anthology thing. Lots of short, like, little short films from, like, indie, you know, filmmakers and all that stuff. And this time they really had people that you've, like, never heard of before. I think, like, one of them, like, had done something, like, slightly bigger, and then another one, the foreign one, Indonesian one, was, they have, like, a Netflix movie and all that stuff. But other than that, it's, like, literally, like, you look at IMDb and it's, like, you know, like, who knows who you are? I mean, not in a negative way, but it's, like, it's a good thing, because then people are like, I like this person. Anyway, yeah, it's an anthology series. Usually what happens in the VHS movies is that there is one cohesive story that kind of like ties it all together. It's usually like the weakest thing. It's usually the weakest part of the entire VHS thing. Sadly, haven't had one yet where it's like, ooh, you know, that's the winner. Can you see my acne patch as I pointed out? Okay, I'm just like looking. I'm like, can people see it? Anyway, it's usually the weakest one because it's always something like, some dude found some videotapes, and he's talking about the videotapes, kind of stuff. Or in this one, it was like, again, it's 1994, SWAT team and a camera guy, you know, back in the big camera guy, you know, they're investigating a thing of, like, you know, stuff, and there's videotapes, and then, like, the shorts are kind of like what kind of interconnected, like, those are the tapes we found, like, that kind of stuff. Which usually, again, with the other VHS movies, it's kind of like that. Or again, a dude finds some tapes, and, so this next one I saw was kind of, you know, like, that kind of shit. Yeah, because I think a lot of them haven't been really good. Was it the VHS viral one? God, I have to look at my freaking letterbox, because I was just like, no. Let me see where I rate. This one, like I said, is definitely the highest rated one of all of them. And zippity doo dah, baba now. Anyway, VHS, I gave it, the first one, I gave it 2 stars. And then VHS 2, I gave it 3 stars. Okay, because yes, that one was a little bit better. VHS Viral, I gave it a 1 star. Because it wasn't good. I have reviews on those. I have reviews on all these, so if you want to see about it. Anyway, so yeah, this one, I wrote down notes because that's what I did with all the other ones, so I might as well do that with this one. Oh god. Okay. So like I said, obviously there's going to be spoilers ahead before I start reading from the Fangle book that I haven't done in ages. I haven't done those kind of reviews in a while. I kind of miss doing those, but I don't really have time to do those kind of reviews. Anyway, so, spoiler alerts. Let's see, has more of VHS feel than the other movies. Like I said, yes, because you can tell they're actually filmed on, like, video. Some of the, like, the wraparound one, I think seemed more like possibly not filmed on actual video, but, like, you know, they then did, like, the digitized, like, this looks like what a VHS looks like kind of stuff. The tie-in story is a SWAT team says there's goo that's bad. Yeah, it's like it's like there's some goo, and it causes people to, like, rip out their eyes, and they have all these tapes and stuff, because again, remember, it's 1994. That's, like, the big thing about this, because it's called 94, to remind people of 1994, and also to, like, really tie in the whole VHS thing. Anyway, let's see. First one, news crew looking for Ratman. Yeah, because this one, I liked how this one kind of went into it, because, you know, a lot of times with things like this, like found footage kind of stuff, you always ask, why are they filming? You know, what's the whole point of filming? There was like a joke I think I saw on Tumblr that was like every guy. It was like no, every girl in a found footage movie. They're like, Josh, stop. It's always that. But yeah, so this is a news crew, and they're saying like there's a thing called a Rat Man, and like you see him, but then if you shine the light on him, he disappears, and it's like, oh my god. So it's a news crew, you know, because it's the '90s. There was nothing else to talk about. Like back in the day, in the '90s, it was a lot of, you know, like, oh, they say there's Bigfoot, and people are like, yeah, there's Bigfoot. You know, nowadays they don't cover. Well, they cover some fucked up shit, but they don't cover the fun stuff like this. Anyway, so they walk through a storm drain to investigate homeless living, because yeah, they were like, hey, I think I saw someone, and as they're further going into storm drain, which this short part was called Storm Drain, they start seeing like, oh, homeless, and then they're like, oh, you know what, maybe, okay, the Rat Man thing is just like a fun, sensational story. Let's talk about homeless people living in a storm drain. Like, this might, you know, like the girls like, we can do, anyway. So they do see Rat Man, and it's like this like weird thing. It's like, it looks exactly what you think a Rat Man would look like. The camera guy, oh yeah, the camera guy gets blessed with goo. So like, the fucking Rat Man comes out of the thing that looks like the doorway thing in the Linkin Park In the End video that Chester walks out, you know, like it's like circular, it's got like things written on it and all that stuff. And Ratman comes out like that. There's some goo that is just there, and then someone just like takes the thing and scoops it up and then just pours it on the cameraman's face, and he's like, ah, ah, like all that shit. You're like, oh my god, because by then they already like, you know, you're like, captured them, all that stuff, and one of the weird people are like filming this happening, obviously. There's a part where like, before that, the woman's like, there's someone there, and it was like just like a tall dude at the end of the fucking like tunnel, and the camera's just on there, and it just like walks away, and they're like, oh, I guess we have to follow him. Bitch! Like, usually like none of these movies like are it's like scary, and they're just kind of like, okay. I have to say, a lot of them do have a good creep factor to it, which is a good thing. But bitch, again, if I saw a dude standing at the end, I'd be like, and then him walking away, I'd be like, oh, it's a sign of the fall. No! This way! That shit always gets me. But again, it's a horror film and all that stuff. It's why, like, in real life you wouldn't do that, but like, if you know, were in a video game, you're like, sure. You know, because again, if you die in the video game, you know, unless you die in the video game, you die in real life. I still need to watch that movie. That needs to be something, it needs to be a watch party. Anyway. Oh. Yeah, he gets blessed by goo, and he's like, ah, you know. Then they go to like a '90s commercial, which looked like the old like ShamWow Slap Chop kind of thing, Billy Mays kind of shit. Yeah, and then they get back to the newsroom, and they're like, we're so glad you made it out alive. Sucks your cameraman died, and then she's like, and yesterday, there was a blah, 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 blah. Hail Ratman, blah, blah. And she kept saying, like, Ratma every so often. She's like, and with the coastal floods of Ratma, rat. And they're like, wait, what? And then she's like, oh, like, this black goo. The goo that was blessed on the camera guy. Like, she spits out black goo, like the fucking xenomorph, on the news anchor guy, and the effects for that were so good. It was just like, ah! He starts like poltergeist, like ripping out his face kind of shit, but it was like, it was good. It was like, ah! Like, all that stuff. That shit was great. Yeah, so that's like the end of it. That's the end of that short. Let's see, SWAT... Still looking through stuff, more eyes gouge, yeah, because then they get to a part where you see like a bunch of crosses, things look like pews, and people are just like, there's eyes like in their hands, and they're like, you know, all that stuff, and it's like, there's a lot of goo, what does it mean, you know, and you're just kind of like, we get to, like, it sucks that the wraparound, like, story thing is usually, like, the weakest, you know, like, I don't know, man. It sucks, but at least it's like whoever made the thing, you know, was able to, you know, get their shit out there. I don't know. Anyway, so the second one, it takes place in a funeral home. It's very interesting. It really just takes place in one spot, like the one room, the funeral, the wake room, the thingy, you know. And it's like, here's, you know, apparently they were saying how this guy was in a horrific car accident, that's why it's closed casket, but for some reason the wake is like really weird, like super late at night for some strange reason. And this one girl has to work there, and there's 3 cameras, and she has to have them on at all time for some reason. But you know, the guy was like, "This is how you change the tapes." So every so often, like in this short, you would see her like from a different angle, you know, labeling a tape, you know, because she's changing tapes and stuff. And there's one part where she's like, you know, because the camera has a light on it, and you know, like the lights go off. She takes the like again, oh, that makes sense for why they're filming. She takes that and with the light like goes and like looks for stuff, you know. Who's a motherfucker? Yeah, I forgot why they said like they had to film the wake. I don't know, or maybe just like insurance purposes or something. But like initially, she's like, "Dude, I'm just sitting here, and we're just recording me sitting for hours." And they're like, "No, keep doing it." And then you know, she calls like a friend, and she's like, "Hey, can you look at the obituary on this thing? Like, I'm doing this wake that's like late at night, and no one's come by. I don't know if anyone knows it exists, and you know, stuff like that. Like those kind of like, this feels kind of like sus." Um, but yeah, then like you know, a storm happens. You know, like there's some parts where like if you notice in the background, it's like, is that someone standing there? Like very Mike Flanagan kind of thing, where like, wait, what's that in the background? Kind of shit. Um, but yeah, like what else was there? Yeah, so weird stuff started happening. Oh, the guy's coffin is like a little like it's not, you know, centered on the thing. It's like a little kunk. And the girl's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just, you know, push this like and then she feels like a knock and she's like, ah, you know, and like she like calls her boss and she's like, oh my god, the dude's still alive. And they're like, what you? And the guy's like, no, he is definitely dead. I worked on him. He is definitely dead. And then, like, you know, she calls her friend. Her friend's like, oh my god, I'm sorry. I, like, fell asleep. And she goes, oh, hey, I didn't have to look at the obituaries for this guy. He was on the front page. And they're like, what do you mean the front page? And they're like, well, remember, you know, I love how it's like, she gives him the name and somehow she, like, forgets about, anyway. She's like, oh, remember that thing where the guy stood on the building for hours and then, like, you know, he jumped off and blah, 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 like... They're like, yeah, he jumped off and his face, half his face is missing or something. And it's like, what? Anyway, then it's like, so it was like, it's building up that like, oh my god, what could this be kind of shit. And then it pretty much, like, it ends with like the storm happening and then the guy like coming out of the coffin and he's just like, it's kind of like the reveal was kind of like it was a very Blair Witch thing where it's like, you know, the camera pans and it's like Mike, you know, and dude's just standing there against the wall and then he turns around and it's like obviously half his face is missing. He's like, you know, and the other half of that face is on the floor and it's just kind of like there. But then at one point like the eye opens and you're like, ah, you know, and then like suddenly like the camera drops. Very again Blair Witch camera drops and then all of a sudden like all the chairs in the room gets like sucked like that kind of shit that happens, you know, and you're like, what? You know, I don't know what it means, but I was like, I'm intrigued, you know, like, I'm with this. Let's see, what is it? Some reason, what did I write? Dude in coffin somehow alive, what the fuck, creepy. Oh, yeah. So then I just wrote down, SWAT still investigating. Again, they're just like, so, you know, they go in a different room and then see, like, a freaking, you know, big box TV as you would, because it's 1994, and then more tapes and stuff, and they're like, what could it be? It's just, a lot of it just feels like shitty, like, ghost hunting shows, where it's like, what is it? What's there? We gotta check out every room, okay, you know, and it's just, I don't know. Alright, so the third one is the Indonesian one, and not to be that person, but this one was obviously not filmed in like VHS on video stuff because first of all it was so crisp and clear. Because again, it's funny because everything else was filmed on that quality, or at least like I said, the one thing looked like it was just effects on it. So this one was just like, it still said like 1994 at the bottom, but it's like obviously super HD because like there was like the autofocus too, where it like what I have with this camera. So like when the guy got like closer like this, you know, like the focus, you know, like the focus did this, and then like when you moved on, like the focus, you know, like the autofocus, and there was depth as you see like this. And it's like I said, it's not like minus 50 points, but it was just kind of like, it was slightly jarring because you were so used to seeing that kind of quality, that when you got back to, I guess, regular HD 4, like 4K, 8K possibly, you know, filming, you're like, oh, what? where am I? But again, it's the Indonesian one. It's the guy who directed what's it? The Night Comes for Us. It's on Netflix. It's super violent. Oh my god! Someone gets shotgunned in the face, and they don't cut away. You see it. Do the pleh. Anyway, oh yeah, I said not as grainy as the other ones. Doctor performing weird experiments. Indonesian, yeah. So it's just like the doctor's like, like talking to the camera. Then it's like, let me cut open like this girl's head, like slice this girl's head and do stuff with it. And there's like a guy like strapped to a bed, and it's like, what? It felt very like Outlast, like that game, where it's like you go by and you're like, bunch of medical experiments and stuff. Yeah, so then missionaries come in, they kill the doctor. Of course, the effects in this one is great because, again, if you've seen the Night Comes for Us, all that stuff, whatever digital effects, whatever, like practical effects, it's all very good. It's so much fun, and he's done like the other ones. I think he's even done like an ABC of Death. But yeah, this is definitely. Oh, I think this guy's gonna do the remake of Train to Busan. Yeah, with James Wan and stuff. I think this is the guy. I think so. Anyway, same what? So, oh, some cyberpunk shit. Yeah, because one weird creation got like everything, every like experiment is literally like just Terminator shit, where it's like, here's a thing, attached to the thing, and it's just like body horror, like just kind of shit. It definitely has, like I said, feels like Outlast, feels like Silent Hill E, definitely very Resident Evil feeling with like the creature kind of stuff. Not creature, but these are people. Oh yeah, and then like the main character, it's their POV, and at one point they get a gun, so it feels like freaking Doom, like with the gun. My hand is the gun. Yeah, so that was really cool, like how they did like the POV kind of stuff, and then you actually like see her, like she looks in the mirror and sees like what she looks like, and it's like, oh god, I'm a monster. I mean, you are like 3 cameras stuck on a thing, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that one was probably like one of the best ones. Then again, was it SWAT something? Oh, I wrote down SWAT something, whatever. I guess I didn't care. So then the fourth one is like very like American chuds kind of thing. And they're training. They're like, well, we got to train and we gotta like fight stuff, and then if something happens, we're ready for it. Like, it's very much that kind of shit. What is it? Chuds train for stuff. Some shit is happening. What the fuck is that face? What the hell did I write? What the fuck is that face? I have no idea where I wrote. I have really no idea what I wrote. What the fuck is that face? What did? Whoa. Fuck? I don't know what the hell I wrote. Anyway, I guess something made me go, what the fuck? Yeah, like, oh yeah, it's like something happens. Oh, I think someone ate someone's face. I think that's what I meant. I was trying to say someone ate someone's face, because that happened. It was a lot of like, like a lot of that happening, Yeah, it was a lot of like walked out, step on a thing, explode, This one was probably filmed at the worst quality, but technically the best, because it definitely was super authentic with the quality of like shot on video, shot on VHS shit. Because it was real shit quality. But it's like, again, they went with the theme, so you can't really be mad about it. Anyway, yeah, so the last one felt like kind of weak for me. That's why I just wrote like 3 to 4 things, and I'm like, oh, and then like, yeah, so then the tie around story thing, it turns out that like the 2 ladies that were on the SWAT team were in on it all along, because they knew that they were going to be investigated, so somehow they joined the SWAT team and got everyone on the team killed so they couldn't be investigated and stuff like that. The end. See, that one. See, it sucks. It really sucks that it was like I said, the second one, the I remember that one tied things around a little bit better because it was like some was it that one or was that the viral? See, I don't even remember. Whichever one where like some guy was like, "Yo, some shit is going on," and like things like really actually tied together a lot better. Um, but I'm probably wrong, and I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. Because how long ago were these movies? Who fucking knows anymore? What year is it? How old am I? Where am I? But anyway, yes, that was VHS '94. Like I said, watch it, you know, because especially now, because those other ones were made like when it was like such the like insane boom of like found footage was happening, and now because we've had some time since we haven't had to like deal with found footage movies in 3D for some reason, you know. Although I think they're gonna try to do like yet another Paranormal Activity movie. Why? Why? None of them been good. Anyway, but yeah, so it's like we haven't seen it in a while, and because you know, like I guess you know the '90s are back and stuff. So doing '94 is great because then like you know people are like, oh, let's go with the theme of actually doing VHS tapes and stuff like that, rather than saying it's VHS and then like shots where like someone's holding the camera and it's like a fucking you know like not even like you know it's like the God it used to be like the camera that like everyone used to have uh when this stuff started. Oh fuck, I remember. But it's like a Sony one, and anyway, but it's like that camera, and you're like, but that's like what everyone. Like I think M. Night Shyamalan shot freaking Last Airbender. No, he shot that shit on a freaking Motorola Razr. Anyway, so all that stuff aside, so yeah, VHS '94. It's on Shutter right now, which if you don't have Shutter, there's not an ad. If you don't have Shutter, like I know there's like 1,000 streaming services out there, but this one is mainly for horror and stuff like that. They got some great shit on there. Like their catalog kind of cycles through like slightly, like depending on the movie. Sometimes a little quicker than I would like, but then there are some that just kind of just stay there. So I would say just you know keep an eye out. But anyway, I just keep talking and I need to shut up. Oh, bye.